Embrace your darkness in the rabbit hole hosted by Soft Life Dizo, The God, Askofu Papa Baiko, and Mama Kanisa Kamom Karembo.
Guys, man, sometimes, hey, producer, usiweke music kama hiyo, cause now I'm almost thinking I'm in the club. Sasa niko huku hivi niko ready kwanza kurapati. My love is so soft. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Last Saturday of the month. Imagine finishing a Saturday on the last day of the month. Epicness. Awesomeness. Anybody's gonna go on the live. Leo nimeshikilia this on my lap. He's so cute and so fluffy and yummy and squishy. Today we're gonna be diving into a very interesting topic. It's a good place actually to get to, at least to, diversify into it and look into it, especially with the systems and all that, and check what actually we can actually look into it. Diesel, I still love you no matter what, but Sijali, you're well represented. So today's live we have Diesel, myself, Mama Kanisa. Yes, darling. Oh, kwapo.
Unaongea nimededi.
Yeah, you're dead to me. Oh, we kwanza mute hata staki mambo yako. We, you short fat round man. Jipige intro kadogo. Leo me decide to show up.
If you have not noticed, let me tell you one thing, bro. We are not. This is what Ushago, bro.
Ushago manye. This is too.
I mean, some of the shit that is happening here, bwana. Hata kama nilikuwa nataka kuwa mse wa ghetto inanikataza.
Acha ni
bro, ni wapi kwingine umesikia show imeintroduciwa by a voiceover? You motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway, bana, Papa Bike was in the motherfucking building. Hey. Kuna kijana mwingine ako hapa, tutampea nini?
Ajidishi.
Ushago manzi.
Ajidishi yako Ushago.
Nipe dizo man, how you doing bro?
Niko fiti man. Karembo nakwambia akiovulate na kwa ganoma.
Guy, how did you know I'm ovulating?
I always know your attitude when I'm not there and you're ovulating manzi.
Kwanza the pains I've been having for ovulation, I'm sure by this time ningekuwa mimba. That's a boy.
It's all right. Mumetupia Doreen mic. Unajua hii sauti yako bana kuna, lakini nimekumbuka nataka kuzoea hizo sauti zenu mbili before niingie zone.
Utaongea na bwana yake?
Hizo sauti zenu zinakuwa trigger mingi. Ati nini baiko?
Utaongea na bwana ya Doreen?
Bwana ya Doreen nani?
I think hata mimi nimeanza kunielewa. Hiyo ya Nairobi inanisumbuanga kichwa buda. It is too light.
Bwana ya Doreen nani?
Ndio nimeanza kuona ni hewa bro.
Hebu tubie ni Doreen mic, you know?
Mpatieni mic kwanza tuzoe hizo sauti zao na Karembo.
Ni sawa.
And then I can hear my voice, man. I can hear some feedback.
That's on you.
For real.
Hiyo niyo Ushago uko.
Uko sure watu watakuja kuongea hapa watasikia chenye mimi nasikia.
Wewe usitulete. Doreen wacha achukue mic alafu atatuambia. You know, pale nimefika, sharing is caring. So Doreen atakuwa nyumba ndogo. Hapa hivi by the nishaitikia.
Si ati by the ati umeitikia ama nini. As in ni naturally alignment. Yani Doreen is a better version of you. Si ati ilikuwa ni swali naulizwa.
BH please.
Unajua like as in
no, Doreen is a younger version of me, which is nice. At least she can be, at least she can learn from what, the do's, the don'ts that I've gone through. That's the beauty about it. She's young, she's beautiful, she's lovely, she's bubbly.
She doesn't need to learn from you.
You're jealous because to click. You're jealous because to click.
And I'm jealous and I'm the one enjoying both of the energy.
Wewe umeona hata naweza kuibia Doreen. So get used to that.
I'm enjoying both energies. How am I jealous?
You jealous.
Dizo, can you feel the echo?
Yeah, can still feel it.
We drop urudi acha kutuletea.
Hata mi nasikia.
Gai.
Unasikia?
Hi Doreen.
Hi Karembo.
Aki mambo kimekumiss.
Hata mimi niko deep in Machakos County.
Ebu Pritia, we need you here. You know?
Aki, I wish.
You should see my prosthetic diesel that I'm holding for live ya YouTube ndio ujue.
Uko lonely. Hata niangalie.
Yeah, I'm so lonely.
Hi Diesel.
Dizo, kuna echo?
Saizi sisikii. Hi, Doreen.
Producer.
Mi nasikia.
Anyi watu
Okay, kuna
iPhone.
venye inatokea ikipotea.
iPhone mkwaje na echo?
Zimeni speaker. Ni nini mkono za ushago hivyo?
We are working on it. Wewe tuendelee.
Can we deal mambo ya ushago next week please,
Haya, Doreen uko aje?
Stop being ghetto.
Niko fiti. Mnaonaje hiyo new profile? Well,
Wewe, lakini mimi sijaiona dem anajua kujiafahamu kukuliko.
Fuck you Diesel.
Wewe ni nini Karembo? Can you just ni uivu uko nayo ama ni nini? Can you let me enjoy a new version of you?
Okay, enjoy.
Yeah, it looks natural. It looks good. It looks good, Doreen. I like it.
thanks.
And
Yeah, you look so yummy and
unafanya
cute.
nini?
Oh, stop.
Sasa ona, umeanza tena kucompete. Karembo, can you just mute your mic? Hey,
Producer ni mute?
Doreen, hati uko Machakos unafanya nini?
Napanda milima.
Oh, uko hiking.
It depends na how you want to interpret it.
You're doing a mua. You're doing the mua.
Well, it's all right. Inaonekana mamiti zinapandwa huko. Hii mvua imekuja.
Oi, Diesel. Jirushe.
It seems this rain came very well. But anyway, let's dive into today's topic. So there's no need of introducing venye tu Baiko amesema manze, like as in bra, we've just been introduced and I don't want to spoil that accent, that robotic accent. I think that is okay for entertainment. And as I speak of entertainment, I'll keep on repeating, this show is for entertainment purposes only.
No.
Shikilia hapo Dizo. 1 minute.
Face your darkness in the rabbit hole hosted by Soft Life Dizo, the God, Askofu Papa Baiko, and Mama Kanisa Kamom Karembo. Produced and directed by Putuwine and Phantom Noir.
Continue, sir.
Before I continue, guys, I think ni kama you guys have not noticed, we have a classic sex. Sex is our policy. S, we do not offer solution. E is for entertainment, and X is for the experience that you get from the Embrace the Darkness. And guys, mkenda pale YouTube, today Dizo has fluffy ears. They look so yum and cute.
Nakwambia
Ina
hiyo
sense your loneliness. Oh yeah.
bana, how
Na
ovulation
pinch.
period inakuwaga vital, inakuwaga very very prime.
By the Dizo,
Watu wameenda kupanda
ulinikosea.
miti huko.
You're so ghetto. You're so ghetto. You're so ghetto.
Anyway, yeah.
Wait, tuko alone on set?
Imagine I'm here. I'm so lonely with my
Anyway,
teddy
Wewe tuingie with your
on my
loneliness
own.
tafadhali, please.
But then, Doreen, can I sing? You know, I'm an alto, so I don't know if I can sing. No, she's on a mua. I thought mulima ya Machakos inaitwa
Producer,
mua.
can you mute for me Karembo with this yake tafadhali?
Love you
Bele
too.
uko unasema ndo niko.
Yes.
Mimi najisikia.
Anyway, so as I had said, na venye Karembo amesema, manze I can hear. Okay, now say siski. But yeah, entertainment, tuko hapa hivi in the rabbit hole for entertainment. There is no solution here. We are not advising people on what to do with their lives ukikuja hapa tu unakuja kutafuta advice ama kuja kutafuta a manual of how to deal with your life, that one should be the first place where to start from. Why are you looking for a manual to deal with your life? Huh? Hiyo ndo kitu nafaa kuwa unaangalia around you. For sisi hapa hivi bana, as we are just, kila mtu hapa hivi anaingia rabbit hole yake. We are also just trying to figure out ourselves here while
YouTube
giving our
versus
own opinions.
YouTube versus.
Now with that, the topic for today is ghetto mentality as the weapon of the system. As you know, this season, series tunaongelea system, series tunaongelea matrix. So how is the ghetto mentality weapon for the system? Manze, let me give just a short story. For the longest, I used to nitaiweka aje? I used to demonize where I was from. Unajua, like I used to glorify yani ghettoness, yani ile ungesema ati unatoka kwa mapunk, like for us, for our generation, watu walikuwa wanatoka mali, mi natoka ilikuwa inaitwa upunk, anyway ni punk. So punk kinda resonated with weakness, like it was being equated with weakness. So manze, mi nilikuwa yani full time I would associate myself with ghettoness. Ningetafuta mashida zote zenye nimepitia and I'd be like, hey, we hata mimi nimepitia hizi shida, what are you saying? Yani I would even put myself through problems. I remember I even started going to shop in Gikomba, bro. Ati Gikomba is cheap, as in bra.
The fuck? Yeah.
Gikomba unaenda unapitia huko kwa matope, hiyo bullshit yote just because you're going for cheap clothes. That shit never made sense to me, but bado ni alafu sasa umerauka, sijui umetoka kwa nyumba sijui 3 am just to go buy clothes. What the fuck, Buddha? Na si ati unauza. As in, I'd understand someone who goes to Gikosh anaenda ku get vitu auze. I'd understand that joko busy. You know, make sense. But mimi siko busy, bruh. Like, as in, why the fuck would I be waking up so early? But I used to do that just because I wanted to fit into the ghetto.
Asi mtu wa
Unajua,
ghetto.
ilikuwa hadi yani tulikuwa tumeweka mtu mwenye ametoka ghetto, huyo ndo mse authentic. Mse ametoka ghetto, yani yeye ndo ameona life. Mapanka wajaona life.
Buda usisahau asi mtu wa ghetto.
Yeah, ni punk.
Man,
From
for the
Karen.
longest nilikuwa najua mimi ni mtu wa ghetto. Mimi nilikuwa
Wait.
nimejiweka huko, unasema nini?
Ghetto mindset.
Shit.
Nilikuwa
Wait.
nimejiweka ghetto big time, bro. Hadi I was dating women from the ghetto.
Nini ilikuwa inakusumbua?
Oh God, guy. Aki, I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. Ungenipata bana, nakwambia nimeenda kuona demu wangu huko, nakwambia. Alafu so we used to have a driver who would drop us kama ni tuition ama vitu tunaenda kudu, then pick us. So ndio niweze kuhang out na huyu demu wangu wa ghetto. Tungefika hiyo mtaani tuna braibu dere wetu, unampatia
Pia
kitu
yeye
kaa kitu 200
anasema
ama 500.
siwapeleki huko bana.
Eh?
Pia anasema manze siwapeleki huko. Lazima niweke.
Yeye amekubali, yeye hata hakuwa na shida, lakini ni venye
Eh.
tukienda na yeye tutakaa mapanga. Sasa yeye tulikuwa tunataka tushukishe town so that we can experience boarding a matatu kwanza
Matatu to the
hizo.
G.
Yes. Ndio hata pia pale ukienda kushuka stage bana, useme bana, nilipanda hii ma3 ilikuwa iko na hewa,
Unaweza
nikashuka
relate.
hii stage nilipata nashuka stage, as in there was nowhere I wanted to show I was from Karen. In fact, hata nikiwa high school I kept on telling people I'm from Buru phase 3. Buru
Diesel.
phase 3
No
or
wonder
Buru
Diesel
phase 8.
anashindanga ameniingilia all the time.
Me, I'm telling you bana, mimi I was so much in that mentality because I knew that's where authenticity was. Hiyo ndo kitu tulikuwa tumewekewa. So hakuna venye ungesema mahali wewe unatoka. Juu ungesema tu hivi ungeambiwa we ni punk, and then sasa hiyo time pia yenyewe tukisema tu kweli mapunk walikuwa tu boring. For me nayo walikuwa tu boring. Like, as in there was no
Excitement.
story about a punk. Mapunk hawakuwa na story.
Ni kweli, big time.
So mi sikuwa nataka kuassociate na mapunk. Mi nilikuwa nataka kukaa na watu wa ghetto. Watu wa ghetto ndilikuwa wanahepa shule, mpaka nimeanza kusema tu wewe, watu wa ghetto ndo walikuwa wanahepa shule, so hao ndo nimejieka hapo. Buda, I was deep in the bad boy zone of being a ghetto for the longest. By the way, tukiingia kwa music zenye tunapata, like it's about glorifying the ghetto. Mimi hata jam sessions nakumbuka, hii place inaitwaga aje,
F2
shit. F2 ilikuwa ya at least general.
X
Kulikuwa na place
Gen X
ilikuwa ya watu general yani. Kulikuwa na hii place fulani huko side za tea room, ilikuwa ya watu wa ghetto badly. Hiyo kulikuwa na club fulani huko, na kulikuwa na Nyanza club.
Inaitwa Steps.
na kulikuwa na Nyanza. Oh my god,
Bro.
Nyanza was the one that used to be pale gari za Thika zilikuwa, I think the 237 matatu route was.
Yes,
That's where Nyanza
club,
used
hapo
to
tu
be.
nyuma hapo.
Yes, correct.
Alafu ukipanda hivi kama unaenda tea room, ulikuwa unapitia hiyo steps. After steps kulikuwa na nyingine tena kwa ile corridor ya from tea room to Globe. Nakwambia nilikuwa najipeleka huko yani, just ndio nikirudi shule nisema nilienda club ya ghetto. Yani niseme by then nilikuwa, I just wanted to fit in. Musically hata sikiza wenye walihit wote, especially hata sisi hapa in Kenya, for our generation, kina Tupac manze, kina Biggie, glorifying the ghetto. Hakuna venye tungekaa hati tunasikiza punk unatuambia nini wewe, au tuambii live. Tunataka msee mwenye anataka kubrag venye ametoka ghetto aka make it, you know. Then they got money. After getting money they were now ile sasa wanatuonyesha, so kila mtu ako ile, oh pia mimi nitatoka ghetto, oh pia mimi nitatoka. But it's a cycle. What is this that utatoka ghetto? It already shows poor decisions of your parents. Sasa venye tunakuwa
Wait. These are all up. Who has the poor decision in that parent for their own kids,
parents-
ama for the ghetto kids?
No. The ghetto is a poor mtu yote mwenye like watu wamebringiwa up ghetto, hiyo ni poor decision ya mzazi. Mzazi yako are ready for those kids.
Alistukia.
There's nothing
But unajua
glorifying.
pia you can't blame the parents per se. You know, it's already like a system thing, the way we used to call it the matrix kind of situation.
No, Karembo,
And I'm not saying that I'm blaming them until you know you would have done better. As in they didn't know any better.
that was their best.
But again, as
Yeah.
I'm saying, that is the system that it showed them, like it showed us, like kukuwa ghetto si mbaya. Ingia huko, then work hard na ujitoe. It's okay to go start a family in the ghetto. But saizi tuna grow, tuna realize that's bullshit. Why the fuck would you enter into poverty willingly just because you're getting kids? Bro, if you're poor, why the fuck are you even dating? Unajua, so it makes sense if you're
Hizo ni mjinga. Ati just because somebody's
for
poor, they're
real.
not supposed to date.
Can you afford love, Karembo?
But
Do you
unajua
know
kuna
how-
kitu
how-
shiki by the diesel. Before you demonize that love, yeah, let me call it the ghetto love, if that's the right word.
the poverty love,
Yeah,
tafadhali.
let me call it the
Add that
poverty
one,
love.
yes.
They make it look like we are in this together. It's like it's that scarcity mentality of thinking that they are there to be with each other as they persevere through the kind of hardships that they are going through in that system. So
Well, I have no problem
well,
with that.
when you're outside looking in, you'll be like, what's the point of you having love? I mean, you need to actually get your shit up together before you can actually have move beyond it. But wow, hapo wako like they
But
have
unaona
found
hiyo
the
yenye umesema,
one to do
Karembo,
this
that has
life
nothing to
with.
do with love. Hiyo yenye umesema has nothing to do with love. That's partnership. Hiyo ni partnership out of alignment. Like as
But
in,
they call it love.
again, I'm not talking about what people call. I'm talking about Mimi, what I am seeing.
Ebu
That is
tell us
not love.
your experience with
Can
the
you
kind
let me
of
finish here, wewe? Let me finish. What is hiyo kitu yenye watu wanaita love? Hiyo kitu it's partnership. Hiyo yenye unasema ati mimi niko chini pia wewe uko chini, like it's two people who don't have something but have the same vision. So you people align on one vision. That is partnership based on alignment. It has nothing to do with love. Like as in, munaweza kuwa it can breed love. At the same time, your love inaweza isha, but because of the vision, you people can stay together.
Are you saying
Now, you
Dizo?
can, yeah.
Acha nikurudishe nyuma kidogo.
Uh-huh.
Juu umesema wase wa ghetto mostly ni mahali yenye you shouldn't have had children.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think these guys understand that but they are just playing victim?
Hell yes. That's where the weaponization by the government is coming from.
The
How do you
system
think
again.
Raila has managed? How do you think Raila has managed to use the ghetto to stay in power, to stay relevant?
Amewa
The
convinced
church,
that
the
the
church,
system, yeah.
the church has used the ghetto to stay relevant.
Now
You know, like as in
inalingana ni
hiyo ghetto imetumika hadi hata kupunish mtu yoyote mwenye hata hivyo pia ndo imetumika like to shrink the abundance mentality. If you're from an abundant if you start making money, unaanza kuambiwa oh, you know, usifurahie sana, unajua pia hiyo do inaweza isha, unajua kuna watu wengine pia hawana, sijui kuna like as in unaanza kuwekwa ni kama you are responsible for other people's decisions. The ghetto, in the ghetto you're not supposed to start a family, bro. In the ghetto pale it should be a face. That is not a place that you go now set up a home. Pale ni ile ni place ya kwenda kujijenga. You know, you go build yourself from the ghetto, then you move out of there because you need those challenges to reach up to your best version.
But this I have
Like
a question.
those
This I have
ghetto
a
challenges. Wait, Thailand. Those ghetto challenges are very, very, very crucial, especially for a man. Like they are very crucial for you to improve yourself to another version, but not going there and getting comfortable. Paka you start a family, and then now you want to project to your family. Hauna do. Why don't you give your kid the opportunity of saying, by the way, my dad is rich. Unataka pia mtoi tu ameena wewe ati by the yenyewe sisi hatukuwa nayo. Mtoi ana struggle na wewe.
Buddha.
A kid now has to grow up so fast just because you got comfortable in your ghettoism.
Dizo, wacha nikwambie kitu moja. Hii gari, hii lori yako naionea pale Mombasa Road na umeteremka kuteremka bro.
Before teremke, there's one question I have for Dizo.
Ndio nilikuwa naenda hapo.
Which one?
Ndio nilikuwa
Because my question is
kumwambia atulie kidogo.
yeah,
Sababu ako na
atulie.
swali.
Yeah, so
Usichome clutch bro.
so Dizo, how are you making it sound like every man has to go through the ghetto? And yet what we've seen, there are men out here who didn't have to go have the experience at the ghetto to make it. Because they've understood the system that the moment you go to the ghetto, there's this like let me call it, it's like you're made to believe that that is the system, that is how it is. It's about you've been put there by unforeseen forces, so you can get out of that system. Because what I've noticed is this, especially for the men who have chosen to, after they've learned that they need to break away from that mentality, especially the ghetto mentality. It's when now, after they've tapped into now what they need to do for them to make it, that they shed off any, let me so-called belief about the ghetto, that they are like, you know what, that's your BS. If you want to judge me because I've changed, that's on you. Because most of the time, people who keep on embracing the ghetto mentality, they do not change. Dizo, what is happening is this. Wacha niseme hivi, watoto wengi mapunk. The only reason
Ulikuwa
that
unauliza
they
swali ama
no, ndio
hata
nasema
sijaelewa.
who said ni lazima that all the men have to go through the ghetto mentality. Si lazima.
I haven't said that. Mi
You said
nimesema.
it. That's what you said.
I've said it's crucial for a man to go through that, and it's not ghetto mentality, to go through the ghetto process. You don't have to be in the ghetto. Like, that uncomfort, that
Okay.
uncomfortability, that uncertainty.
let me
ile
ask you this,
ujui hiyo siku
Dizo.
itaisha aje.
Okay, let me ask
Like
you
that's the
this.
process I'm talking about.
Okay, let me ask you this. Somebody like Elon, somebody like let's look at some of the
I don't think you've
families.
even understood what I have said. Wewe unataka kuinsist na narrative.
Umesema
Hujaelewa
it's
chenye nimesema.
essential. You said it's essential. But
Karibu hapa ndio nitawa interject nyi wawili kwa sababu you guys are basically talking about the same thing but at a different angle because the question is who defines ghetto mentality.
exactly.
Unaona
And why do you need it?
kidogo tu. And that is where I think Dizo is building up to. Ni vile hajafika mwisho.
No, but tunaona vile anasema it's
Nitafika aje na
essential.
Karembo
No,
unajua nauliza
yeah,
swali
anasema it's
kupita
essential
narrative.
for the men.
No, he's not yet clearly
No,
defined.
he said
That's
I
his
thought
full
he did.
facts.
Unajua amekuwa on the whole
I've said it's
whatever.
crucial and then nataka uelewe sijasema ghetto mentality. I've said the ghetto process. Unaona
Ndio
like
nauliza who said it's a must you have to go through the ghetto process?
no one has said it's a must. I'm saying it's
No,
crucial.
you say it's essential. So my question is why?
Kidogo tu Dizo, what is ghetto mentality?
It doesn't really have to be ati lazima uende
Again,
go through the
sijafika kwa ghetto
ghetto.
mentality. Haya, ngojeni ni
Kidogo tu
land.
Dizo niulize Karembo hii swali. Karembo, what is ghetto mentality?
No, ghetto mentality, you have to be in the ghetto. It's a place of there's lack. It's a place where you have to really fend for yourself to stand out. So ndio nakuuliza, who says most of these men have to go through
Fanya
it?
hivi, that answer to the question I am telling you, Dizo is explaining it.
Okay.
What is ghetto mentality? Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be ghetto. I mean, there's so many
Na ndio
ghetto
nasema,
places.
you don't have to be ghetto.
Karembo,
Let me finish.
just listen.
Let me finish.
Just listen to understand, not to answer. Now listen.
It doesn't mean you have to be ghetto. Kwenye ghetto iko. Kidogo.
Okay, I get that part.
Ghetto
I
as-
do get that
1
part.
minute,
But
Karembo.
imagine of somebody who
1
has
minute,
grown up
Karembo.
in a place where there's not that
Listen,
ghetto mentality.
it's not about growing up,
Why the essence for it?
Karembo, listen. It's not about
Thank you.
growing up in a place. You've already grown up.
It's not about growing up.
Listen, please.
But why do they need
You
it?
just listen, Karembo. Though,
Yushika, like for example, Dizo says he's come from a punk kind of whatever background. What is the need of having that ghetto mentality? Like the essence of it, I don't get it. Because you see, by
how
the
will
time
you
you're
get
fine,
it when you're not even listening?
This
You
is-
want to
Ngoja, before
force a
Dizo you
narrative.
get there, it's because it's something that I've noticed, especially for these punk people. Watu wametoka, let's say from certain neighborhood, let me call suburbs, and they feel like they have to get some sort of to relate with a bit of what comes as ghetto mentality or the ghetto essence of it. But after that, they end up just reverting back to their lifestyles. So the question is, why the need? Why the essence? Why try to, tap into it?
That's the purpose of this whole space today.
But that's why I was asking. There are people who've not they didn't have to go through the ghetto to experience it.
We are going to talk about all of those people.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
Dizo, continue.
And then Karembo, please. Listen. Whatever you're talking about ndio kitu tunajaribu. Hata Baiko amejaribu kukwambia hakuna kitu umeshika. Wewe unataka tu kufocus hiyo swali yako. Na hiyo swali yako itashajibiwa. You see, ghetto mentality is not the ghetto. Mimi, I was not from the ghetto, but I had the ghetto mentality. You know, like that ghetto mentality is your struggle, the resilience. Like it's something you need, the uncertainty, embracing uncertainty. Like ujui hiyo siku itaisha aje, ujui kesho itakuwa aje. Bro, you just live for the day. Making sure hiyo siku you're doing your best. Kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni, you make sure that day you're doing the best. Kesho tukiamka, we repeat that shit. Rona, like that is, I'm saying that is very, very, very crucial for a man. It doesn't matter whether umegrow kwa mapunk ama umegrow kwa ghetto. Ghetto should be a phase. It should not be a permanent place. Unaenda unakaa umefika hapo ati ndio mwisho. It is just a phase. A phase that I feel right now especially watu wengi wanafaa kupitia. Ile yenye si ati uko comfortable tu. Cause unajua pia huku side ya mapunk and I'm not saying that there is anything better with hookah or side ya mapunk. The problem with side ya mapunk, wale wenye wako exposed na hii side nyingine is unapata get so comfortable paka they don't know how to be independent. Huyu mtoto akiachiwa mali za wazazi, would they do? They squander all that nini, the inheritance or whatever. Kuna wengine wameachiwa businesses, the businesses fall because all they know is to consume. They don't know how to look for it. Like, ukipata mtoi mwenye ametoka ghetto ana develop haraka kuliko msee ametoka kwa mapanga.
I disagree.
Because no, it is.
No, I
And I'm
disagree.
putting it in the.
In what
I
way?
haven't refused.
No, I
I'm
disagree.
just saying.
Because there are more opportunities if, I mean, your people are financially in a place of financial stability, right? But for the ghetto
No.
child, most of the time it's the hardship that makes them go beyond.
Si ndio hiyo anasema
No, yeah, nasema they develop better. But in my
Faster.
head, faster. So how does that say that the child who's growing in a, let me say, an environment of the suburbia that makes them not grow faster? Because I don't think so. I
We
can
are
only talk
talking
from,
about mentality. I don't know what
yes,
development you're talking
yes,
about.
it's the mentality
So
I'm
if
talking
it's
about.
mentality, wait, Karembo. If it's mentality, then yeah, the ghetto kids develop faster unless mwenye anatoka kwa mapunk. It has nothing to do with financial stability. It has everything to do with emotional security. It has everything to do with mental stability. So huyo mzazi, ukipata mzazi mwenye ako mentally stable saidi ya mapunk, ata expose mtoi wake to ghetto mentality. Atamuexpose tu kumwonyesha by the way pesa haiko full time. Go look for it. You want this, go look for it. But huyu wa ghetto,
Unaweza
huyu
sema hiyo
analan,
ghetto mentality ni street smart, being street smart.
yes, analan through experience. Huyu so ana develop haraka in the sense of mentality. Like ana face reality haraka. Anajua by the way, hapa hivi ukicheza vibaya, hapa utatokwa.
Uko nje
Punk hizo
mbaya.
Why
mto
do
wa
I
punk.
feel I need to reject that and say no? It doesn't mean just because we may go through the ghetto that you're smart. If that's the case, let's not even go far. Look at the politicians that have been so-called ghetto like they've gone through the ghettos. Are they making smart moves? No. Give me examples of people who've been from the ghetto that are making smart decisions.
Can I give you an example?
Ruto. Bro, tuko na
No,
Ruto.
that one is Shag's mentality.
Tunataka
That's a
nikumalizie
different
Karembo, because
one.
clearly
No,
you're just
you cannot
rejecting
talk of Shags and
to
you
debate.
cannot
Can
say
you wait,
Ruto has a bet is
Karembo,
smarter
wait,
than that. No, I
wait.
totally disagree
Again,
on that.
Karembo, wewe unajua saa hizi wewe una
Being
argue tu
street smart haimaanishi you are smart. Inamaanisha you know like
What you're doing.
you know like you have to, there's a way you handle things zenye unapata wase wako na do they can't handle. That's what is being smart. Like mse ako na
No,
do
I
but he doesn't know how
disagree
to use the
totally
money.
because what you know,
Karembo, hebu wait,
but you
Karembo
cannot
wait.
compare
Wewe unajua
exposure.
wewe sasa wewe una argue tu juu unataka tu kuargue.
Si
Your points are
kuargue.
you are literally not even, yani you are not listening to what is even being said.
Hata
Wewe
nyinyi
ni kama uko na,
hamsikizi.
you have another narrative umekaa nayo, hiyo ndio unataka ikue.
No.
Karembo, being
Yes.
street smart doesn't mean you're better than someone who's book smart or
I did not talk
it
about
just
book
means
smart. Jesus.
Let's give them a minute.
I'm not talking of intelligence and
Give them a minute,
smartness.
they land.
producers pomute Karembo, mimi nitamtoa hapo.
Sunitoe.
Sasa hatuwezi have conversation kwa sababu umekwama kwa narrative yako.
You know, Dizo, the problem is hii makosa ni yako. I blame you.
Why?
I blame you, bro. Kwa sababu you're not here and Karembo is feeling anxious, bro. Ashua ha.
Hata
Bro,
hatuwezi
ashua
ongea.
ha bwana. Ukifika nyumba unakuja leo. Unajua kusema unarudi lini basi. Sema unarudi leo, bro. Tutulie. What we are saying is a problem of your nature.
Hata unishikililie tu kidogo leo nimekukubalia.
Nilikwambia beba mzigo yako. My friend hapana.
No,
Sultana
it's not about that.
Sultana kukuja.
Hapana, mimi hiyo story ya kujaribu
But anyway,
kusema
haya,
about
Karembo, let me
street
land.
smart.
And then wait. Let me land. It is not about, you see, counter let me use, let's say an argument. Counter an argument with discernment, like you've understood that argument. Don't just counter it just because you want to counter it. No one has said being street smart is better than anything.
No, that's what you guys said.
No one said that.
Say
I said
No, I said being street smart is not being better. It means like you know how to maneuver huku nje compared na mtu mwenye like maybe ako book smart but is not street smart.
Now,
So
you
kuna
guys,
difference
you're the
hizo
guys
mbili.
who introduced the book smart. I was talking about being street smart. That has nothing
again,
to
tena hapo
do.
hujaelewa. We are trying to
Okay,
tell you
can I
there's nothing
land?
better.
Ndio ushike pia mimi what I'm
Sasa how can
saying.
you land when I haven't landed, Karembo?
Before you land, because you've
Wewe
been
umekubali
speaking.
hata ni land, wewe unataka unanikatisha katisha tu.
Aya, let me just
You
say
want me
this
to
one
bring me to your narrative. No, wait, let me land. Now you can nini, and then you'll bring your side.
Okay.
Blah 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 blah
Okay.
blah blue blue blue.
You know, I saw a video of that thing. Ati mtoi Gen Z anajaribu Gen Z anajaribu kupatia
Land.
boundaries zake. Man, that shit was funny. But anyway, so as I was saying, on the ghetto mentality, as in, and I'll repeat, men ni kitu poa wapitie hiyo kitu. It is a mentality. It is a face. It doesn't mean it is a personality. It is not something ati sasa unajishikishia ati mimi ni mgeto. No, that is just a phase you pass. You learn from it, then you go to the next. It's like when on the punk side, there's more opportunities, especially kwa stories za mashule, stories za corporate. And hizo sides zinahitaji book smart. Now, once you've captured the book smart, you can look on the side of street smart. You go also capture the street smart. That's what evolution is. Like it's a phase. There's not that unakaa hapo.
unasema mostly ni ile ya you evolve holistically, si mahali tu moja peke yake.
Yes, si ati unakaa tu place moja. Si ati kapia umezaliwa punk ati sasa unataka tu kukaa huko. Like as in once you've mastered that side huko ya mapunk, evolve to another side. Move side ya move ghetto. Go interact with the ghetto, go learn the mentality there. Because you are not there out of victimhood. You are there out of learning, out of alignment, like ile out of growth. Wewe unataka kujua okay, once nimemaster hii nisonge, ni mentality gani tena naweza shika. But now the system has weaponized ghetto mentality to a point. Mtu wa ghetto akitokezea amekubaliwa ku act a fool. Mtu wa ghetto amekubaliwa kuongea tu bullshit. Ati mi by the way, mimi hizo ma English sijuani nazo. Mimi na No, you have to understand which platform you are in for you to say that. Kama umeenda in a corporate office, huwezi sema huwezi ongea English. English is needed there. Huwezi sema huwezi vaa suti ama huwezi vaa official and tuck in ati juu umetoka ghetto. You know, like you have to be professional in like I said, if you are going in an environment where you need to perform, then perform based on that environment, not based on wewe unasema wewe ni nani. Ati mimi unajua mimi ni mgeto, mimi hizo ni vitu siwezi fanya. Mimi ni mgeto, mimi siwezi enda ku party in such a place. Mimi ni ghetto, mimi siwezi spend hivi.
Na unajua dizo hapo
It is
ndio
not a personality.
that is where now street smarts comes in. How deep is being street smart? I think that is the whole context of this ghetto mentality. What is the streets? Juu unaona, if it's true that you are learning to engage environments, then every environment for you is a street. You need to be smart in that street. Sivyo? So
Yeah.
if you are going towards ghetto mentality, is bruh, how are you still utilizing the same knowledge you got from that other level here? Bro, you're not growing anywhere. I think that's what we are talking about today.
Yes. In fact, unajua wewe unakuja from survival mode.
Yeah.
Yani wewe any interaction una have nayo na mtu is just ghetto. Unajua like let me give you a simple example. Kuna time now I had gotten a certain tender ya ku supply stories za entertainment, stories za sound nini. Now my partner then akona hiyo ghetto mentality ya like yeye amechukua hiyo ghetto mentality as a personality, so akona ile ubroka, so he was like juu hizi ndo zinatakikana na hizi, so tufanye hivi, let's go outsource easy from this place, it will be a bit cheaper, we outsource this from this place, it will be a bit cheaper. And I'm like, why would we do that, yet we can just get them, we can go buy them and then start supplying us, as in here kwanza it can be to invest back on the things that are needed, then sasa tenda nyingine ikikuja at least tuko na hizi vitu. Now, what we were to save actually, if we would have gone to outsource on those cheaper outlets, it was a margin of, kama tuseme kubai ilikuwa ni 1000 bob, hii nyingine ilikuwa ni I think 800 and
hata
something.
mtaki kusikiza anachosema.
Can hear Karembo, mwambie mute mic. So it was a margin of like 200 shillings. 200 shillings. So ieke it was either ni 2000 ama 200,000, it was like that a small margin hivyo. For me I was seeing it was a small margin considering the investment, unaona. Na hizo vitu za ku outsource tena bado hapo unaenda unapata ni hiyo zenye alikuwa anasema tuende ati juu ya ubroka, bro, those things fucked us up, we ended up not getting that tender again, really fucked us up,
200
because sasa yeye bado
shillings.
anakuja
200 shillings, bro.
yes. So it was around 200,000. So yeah, nimeiweka hiyo design. It was around 200,000. But in my head I'm like unapata baiko. Hii ni like as in hizi vitu mkizibai ni kitu kaa 1 million, si ndio? Mkizi outsource ni kitu kama 800 and something. So why don't you just buy them?
Ulisema ni mtoto wa Karen.
Bana mimi mimi nilikaa me, I'm like, why are you still thinking about 200,000? Yet if we get all this for ourselves, we can be guaranteed this tender continuously, unaona. So ni hii ya kwanza tu ndio tutachomeka, but the next one itakuwa we have everything. Manze, ilitugonganisha, that tender ended up going to someone who had everything. Walikuwa we thought you people had everything, kumbe you are outsourcing. Sasa malights huku zimeleta problem, sijui tulizia outsource. Huyo mwenye alikuwa tena light mara hajafika, mara sijui nini. Tunaenda kule kwa stories za stage sijui tena imeleta shida, sijui mtu wa stage sijui anafaa kulipwa nini, hajalipwa. Huyo partner wangu bado anasumbuana, ako like tuliagree na yeye ndo anafaa kutoa fare. Yani he had alileta ubrokenness mwingi, we ended up losing more money than tungebai tu kila kitu,
Unajua
unaona. Na hiyo mimi nilikuwa naiona hiyo ni ghetto mentality. I'm like, why would you just like be so firm on that ghetto mentality, like it's a badge of honor? Why are you not adapting to how the situation is,
bro.
you understand? Like
Let me give you a story, bana. Msicheke. Man, I was watching another is it a podcast or what? I think it's a podcast. And two things were happening. It was jamaa tajiri bana. Sijui hata ni wa country gani. I think ni wa US, a black guy. And he was talking to about steak. Sijui kuna how fulani iko, there's a franchise in the US. Imesema sijui ni puppy steak or something. What they do is, sijui kama ushaisikia the golden steak yenye inaletwa iko covered in gold.
like ni nyama.
Yes.
Steak.
Well, I
steak.
think najua those gold wrapped steaks,
Bro, and it is $1,000, that steak itself too. Now, bro, our watu were asking, bro, why $1,000 for a steak? And the person that was being told this story was anaitwa Vusi Dembekwayo. Alistuka $1,000. There are so many people here that can that can do this job. And this guy was like, no, the reason why that steak is worth $1,000 is because when I went there, hiyo kitu inatoka kwa kitchen. Unaona vile tunaletea wangu wa bottles kwa club zikichomeka huku juu, it comes to you like that. Alafu inakuja hii corrupt ina gold briefcase, inatoa moshi. It is the presentation of that shit. Mpaka wasee wanasimama ku witness what that stake is. That is why it's $1,000. Now umse alikuwa anasema people who have money, or rather who don't have that, they want that experience, especially time ya vitu ka Super Bowl. Wanajaza restaurant yake, he might even end up having almost like 100 customers ordering that steak. That is how much, tukitoka kwa ghetto mentality and we look at things like growth and experience, that's how far some of these things become mundane. Munaacha kubishania vitu peti hazina miguu.
Bro, ukiangalia one of the consistently 24-hour economy is the ghetto economy. But yet it doesn't bring forth any development, like as in, if kama Kibera, nakumbuka hata ile time ya nini, time ya zilikuwa inaitwa time ya COVID, time ya COVID Kibera hakuna ati sijui ikifika idhaa gani mnajifungia, as in pale ilikuwa inasonga tu, time vitu tu zinafanyika tu, because the economy is a daily economy. Kuna watu yani wana live day by day. Now if you look at it professionally, a 24-hour economy, if well planned, should be very far in like 10 years. We are not supposed to be seeing zile mabati, as in ingekuwa isha improve. Kuna vitu zingekuwa zime improve, but why hasn't it improved? Because that mentality has been glorified. How has it been glorified? When you're from the ghetto, you are victim. You're made to feel like a victim. You're made to feel like life is against you. You're made to feel like things. That's how the system now keeps you in a loop of that failure. You're not made to feel uangalia ati hii yenyewe, hii tu ni face, hii ni stage. Saizi hapa ghetto ndio naweza afford. That's all I can afford. I can afford this ghetto here. But I'm not going to say ati now I'm going to afford this ghetto for the rest of my life. No. So napata watu wana get comfortable huko ghetto because also life is cheap. Someone is only making money ile yenye inaweza mweka hiyo siku. Rent ni cheap, hataki kujichallenge, anaona nikienda huko hiyo rent ni mingi, siwezi make. Kwa sababu hii hustle ndogo ndogo ya hapa inamweka daily. Before ajue amepatana na kadem mwenye pia ako tu sawa na hiyo mentally, hiyo nini, hiyo environment ya hapo, wanaoana. Before they know it, they bring forth kids with the same mentality. Now it remains a loop. Then sasa inakuwa ati the line between the poor, the distance between the poor and the rich ni ndefu, ati it keeps on growing. No, it doesn't. It is the patterns. Is the more you remain in the pattern, the more wewe mwenyewe unajipeleka huko chini. But when watu wengi wametoka kwa ghetto mentality, the same as venye kuna watu wametoka kwa mapunk na they've had all the opportunities but they didn't amount to anything. Imebidi sasa tu, yani sasa hao ndo sawa wamekuwa tu madwanzi. So both sides, hakuna ati kukua punk ati it's a permanent thing. That is a phase. Unaichukua, you learn from it, then you challenge yourself. Ukiangalia watu kama kina Elon, kina Trump, there's a point in their lives they were in debt. Unajua, so walikuwa poor, lakini because of their growth mentality, they didn't see that kukuwa bankrupt as an end. 50 Cent ashai kuwa bankrupt publicly, but it was for the context of that moment with the system. So yeah, mi nimelandi yangu hadi hapo.
Bro. Now, Dizo, the more we go down this rabbit hole, you start to ask yourself questions kama who is enabling this? Ama who is weaponizing? Who is behind this weapon? Because if you use it correctly, bro, this thing becomes a flex to you. Inakutoa from one place to the other because you always stay sharp. Tumeona wase wameembrace your notion ya, bro, I'm from the ghetto. See, it's survive. Let's survive. I survive to the best of my ability. And it has propelled them to greater heights. We cannot say, there's a quote I normally read that says, you cannot say a rich man is stupid. I mean, there's something he has done right, whether we like it or not. So who is weaponizing this and why? Lakini kabla tuende huko, naona sasa sijui pande yake ni pande gani. You are the audience, you can tell us, man. Jamaa ku literally sacrifice his balls. Is that ghetto mentality ama what is that context, man? Mi hiyo kitu inanishangazanga mpaka leo. Gift, tunasemaje bro?
Why are you glorifying stupidity?
Bro, who's glorifying stupidity?
Ati somebody is someone is bringing you steak, $1,000 steak in a briefcase. Yo, let me tell you, that's some low level shit. There's nothing premium about that. Nothing. Yani imefika point people are so comfortable talking about how the presentation of steak instead of how good it is.
Bro, let me ask you a question, Nani. Gift. How many times
You're paying for quality, bro. Not the experience ya upuzi.
How many times are you having that steak?
No, sasa ndo mimi nakwambia, unaona preference yangu, I would rather have a $40 Montana's steak, but it is awesome. It is good quality than have $1,000 steak. Ni kama wale wasa wanaenda club. Be honest. Ukienda kama Muthaiga Golf Club, if you are talking about luxury and experience, look at how if you go to a golf club like Muthaiga, how would they bring you a bottle? Simple, not all these razmataz nini, lakini inaenda yaitwaje hapa quiver. Some boneless skinny women wako hapo wanakuletea na hizo just what you spend 40,000 on Mattel, or you want to tell me that that's not being on survival mode, or you're high class. There's nothing high class about it.
I mean,
if you want a good experience, then go for quality. Afadhali uniambie someone who wants to experience good steak paying $1,000 and having the chef at their house making that $1,000 steak. That's worth it. But sijui unaletwa na briefcase, what do I get to keep the briefcase or what?
Now the question is, Gift, pia wewe naona uelewi this ghetto mentality thing. Imagine this. You have not yet understood your environment to a point that you are being incentivized that is a whole fucking experience, bro.
Then I'd rather be broke, bro. I would rather be broke for the rest of my life if spending
Now you are the
$1,000
ghetto
on
mentality
steak.
we are talking about.
No,
You are that exact.
that's
You, in
some
fact, you are the
stupid
example
shit.
we were talking about.
There's no way. It's like kuniambia ati mtu ananiuzia ngoma just because it's been slapped with what is it called, the LV sign. Unaniambia ngoma ati ni $1,000. Are you stupid? Ati just for the what, for the experience. Alafu unajua the funniest shit ni nini, if you go like kama hapa, I would walk into a Calvin Klein store niangalie t-shirt, and I'll get a t-shirt yenye iko on sale clearance for maybe $9 at most. Ukiangalia that's averagely 700 800 shillings. Ukiflip uangalia hapo made in what, unaona made in Kenya. That same t-shirt ukienda Athi River hapo EPZ utaipata na 400 bob. Unaona, there's somebody a month earlier alienda akaspend almost $65 on that t-shirt. Oh, you're going to tell me the person who spent $65 for that t-shirt imeandikwa tu Calvin Klein na ule mwenye amekuja akaichukua ikiwa on clearance for $9 ule alinunua na $65 ndo iko some stupid shit. Hakuna kinaweza niambia. Ukiambia alafu unajua kitu ya upuzi nini bro?
Wacha ni kujibu hapo.
Skiza. Angalia, naweza kukuonyesha hapa restaurant. There's a restaurant hapa high end. They sell steak for like $400. $400. Wallahi, if you show up at, let's say you want to have dinner at around 11, that same steak yenye mwenye aliuziwa $400 in the afternoon, they're about to close, they'll tell you it's 150. Oh, so tell me, mwenye alinunua at 400 na mwenye atainunua na at 150, what's the difference? Experience in the same restaurant?
Wait.
Dumb shit.
Am I on? I can't hear myself.
Yeah.
So, Gift, you're very correct on that. And the reason I say maybe it's because of this. Let's take it back like a few moments ago. I had something about Sujui being book smart. And I asked myself, are you guys trying to tell me the people who've grown up, especially in a ghetto, don't get to go to school? And then I remembered something. The best place that you're going to see each other experience, share their own experiences, especially of their backgrounds, is colleges, universities. Look at, even when we look at scholarships, they don't really care if you're coming from the suburbs, ghetto, middle class, wherever. It depends on how much you did your proposal for you to get a scholarship. Look at normal kawaida universities that we have here in Kenya, be it Strathmore, UON, or JKUAT, whatever. They don't care which high school you came from, as so long as you got your credits to get for a certain course. In the end of the day, you're all in the same class trying to learn. So when we are trying to say here it's about being book smart and all that, remember this: everybody gets the same opportunity. It's how hard you work to get into that level, to get to learn about it. So let me take you guys also another example, because this is how I feel like sometimes people get to, it's not that I don't get history or ghetto mentality. The ghetto mentality, the only way I'm looking at it is for these people who have chosen to get stuck in a certain system that they've been put at and they don't want to get out of it. So if you find yourself in a place where you're having such ghetto mentality, your question is this: how do you pull yourself out of it, or how do you learn and make better, do better for your own betterment out of that situation that maybe the system has created to make a loop? Now, look at something like House of Cards, where we have this guy called Frank Underwood. Frank Underwood used to love rib steak being made by, if you remember, that guy used to make it somewhere. And he used to say those were the best ribs, especially within the whole of that place. And that tells you something. For him, it was that experience and how that steak was being made. Do you think Frank Underwood was trying to relate with that ghetto relation there? No. He enjoyed the kind of steak. Do you think that Frank Underwood could not access places where probably he could have paid that $1,000 for a steak? He could. But for him, he was looking at quality. The kind of quality is getting the steak that he's paying for. Be it's like a hand. Frank Underwood. No, his initials is FU, like fuck you, like Frank Underwood. So he used to slave the steak that was being made. I don't know why I can't remember the black guy who used to make his steak. And you can notice something. At one point, the jobs got off, and the black guy actually came to ask. He came to ask Frank, are you able to get me a job? And Frank got him a job as a gardener within the White House. But Frank forgot something. Then that's what I'm saying. You don't have to have an essence to the ghetto mentality or the ghetto essence about it. Because think about it. If Frank really enjoyed his steak so much, he would have put this guy in the kitchen. but he was given a job as a gardener. Do you really think it's important? Like he cared about that experience?
And that is
No.
what we are talking
Exactly.
about now.
And that is why I'm saying, if you listen to the way Gift has actually stipulated it, the quality of the t-shirt doesn't change. But if I go put it in a store, probably, let's say, for example, in GTC, you're going to go buy it for 10,000. But you go to EPZ, you're getting it at 400. But the question is, does the quality change?
No,
The label is the same.
You see,
No.
kidogo tu Gift.
Let me Baiko.
Yeah.
Let me answer
So
Gift.
being street smart, that has nothing to do with that. Just because you've tapped into some element of it or something like that.
And that's what we were talking about. As in,
Karembo, there's nothing you've understood about street smart and even that topic of book. Where you're still comparing, you think things are against the other. You think it's a versus thing. It's not. We've explained both sides.
Okay.
Now let me go to hii yenye Gift anasema your story sijui ya t-shirt ati the nini doesn't change. Let me even generalize this. Ghetto mentality is scarcity mentality. Then there's abundance mentality. Now, on abundance mentality, that money is no longer even an issue. Bro, it's all about convenience. That's the topic I started with. How the fuck would I be waking up at 3 a.m. to go to Gikomba just because it's cheaper than the mall than Karen than the hub? The hub is just next to our home. Now the t-shirt is expensive at the hub, but it's convenient for me. You understand? It has nothing to do. No, you people are rapport here. Why would I spend this money? Because of that ghetto mentality you're stuck in. You don't have enough. You're still approaching things from a survival point of view. At if I can get this on a cheap and the same material, then let me go for it. But yet it's not even convenient. Now, if those shops were at the same place, that e-shop LCY Kiki is here selling the same t-shirt that Gikomba is over then next to Gikomba, Neza get the same t-shirt at Gikomba, then yeah, of course someone can just walk into Gikomba, get a 20
Okay.
bob t-shirt or a 50 bob t-shirt and go.
Sasa
But if
bro.
LCY Kiki
No,
is here
Dizo, you're
behind
also
you,
not
Okay.
getting the way we are
No,
explaining
let me
things.
give Dizo a different example, okay?
Mm.
And this is from an experience from someone very close to me. So this Luo classmate of mine, babake alikuwa amemaliza kujenga nyumba. And we asked him, oh, by the way, why don't you get good furnitures at there's a place hapo Tao inaitwa Magereza Furnitures. It's owned by prisons. I'm sure you probably know it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine akasema, I don't like Kenyan quality stuff. So this old man decides to go to Dubs. Kufika Dubai, he sees this amazing piece of furniture.
Mm.
It was costing maybe 500, 600,000 Kenya shillings.
Mm-hmm.
Upon hiyo kiti kuenuliwa, kuangalia, imeandikwa made by Kenyan prisons.
Mm-hmm.
So this Negro flew from Nairobi. Kitu yenye anaweza enda Tao. Na ukiendapo magereza, you can literally request for furniture itengenezwe venye wewe unataka. These are guys who made the seats in parliament. And the price unajua ingekuwa ngapi hapo? Almost half the price.
Gift.
From that
But
moment,
you know, Gift, no, you're talking from point ya ignorance. You're not talking point ya mentality.
No, sasa no.
That's just ignorance.
Kidogo Gift and Dizo.
How's that mentality?
I think what we failed to do. Let us clarify what ghetto mentality is. Na tutumie how it is being referenced to.
No, you people are saying
kidogo
ghetto
tu.
mentality. Ngoja. Now, just 1 second. I'll lose my chain of thought,
No,
bro.
don't lose it. Hold it, bro. I mean, umeshikilia vitu zingine manze, hii itakushinda. Refers to a mindset shaped by life in marginalized, impoverished communities, often characterized by survival tactics like resourcefulness and distrust of authority. But it is also stereotyped as materialism and defeatism. It can also be a tool for resilience or a label used to blame individuals for systemic issues. That is what ghetto mentality.
Sawa, give us
refers to.
example. So what would be the people who are marginalized that are in such a situation? Let's
Now-
not go far. Let's look at simple places. Mtu ametoka Mathare, Kibera, let's even say maybe Kiandutu. Some of these, even let's say even in South Africa, maybe the ghetto like Soweto and stuff like that.
Now-
But there's something that also you need to understand. There's what you can call there's something to do with survival. There's lack, there's scarcity. They blame the system for their situation.
All those
So
you've named
that
are
means
one.
one thing.
All those are
Ghetto
ghetto mentality.
Because
all those
wacha
Which
nitumie-
I do not,
wacha nitumie-
sikatai, na ndio atakuuliza aje. So in the way you guys were trying to explain, especially
let me
for
give you an
this-
example yenye umesema nikupatie. Gift ametupatia a very good example just right now, hata tujaenda mbali sana. He's trying to compare that guy who saw a furniture made by, is it Kenya Prisons Gift?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
magereza.
comes from a point of ignorance.
And he flew all the way to where?
Dubai.
Dubs.
To buy it.
No, hakujua. Yeye ameenda kaona furniture in Dubs and he liked it.
Yes.
So unajua you definitely have to check, made in what, nini, if you want to do recommendations. No, hiyo upuzi. Turkey make the best furniture. I'm sure you probably had something like that. Yeah, so upon checking anaona imeandikwa hapo made by Kenya Prisons. The same people wenye wako Tao. And he was shocked, and from that moment he's always recommended magereza furnitures in Tao to people. Anawaambia by they make the just quality better furnitures.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact they make good furnitures zenye zinapelekwa out of the country. Unaelewa?
Yes.
And I'll give you an example. And if there's someone here who knows a restaurant inaitwa Mama Nilishe.
Nataka tukae kwa hiyo ya furniture
No,
tu. Usitoke kwa hiyo ya furniture.
just a second.
Usitoke kwa
Just
hiyo
a
ya
second,
furniture.
bro.
Let's stick on
just
that
a moment.
furniture thing.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to figure out why you're surprised that he is recommending it.
No, si ndo maana nakwambia tuko na ile mentality ya ati class ati a certain class or materials flani indicate, or ukiingia kwa restaurant flani wakikuletea steak na briefcase, that's sheer stupidity.
Correct.
And that's what I was ngoja.
But to who? To who?
No,
But
just
that's what
give me a
happens with
moment.
the people who
Baiko,
think they've come
Baiko.
from that marginalized kind of people.
No,
They think that they have to pay out more to feel that they
Yes.
have gotten the value for
As a
money.
matter of exactly. Na
Which
hiyo
is
ndo
and
ghetto
that's the
mentality
thing,
kwanza.
and that's the thing, and ndio nilikuwa nataka kuuliza aje. Look like somebody like Zuckerberg. He was in Harvard, dropped out. The other day he puts on t-shirts that say don't know for how many, but it helped hike the price. But for him, he's not looking for I don't know, a class or an experience. Him is just looking for comfort in clothes.
It is serving utility.
Exactly. But then somebody from probably who has now merged from that whole ghetto mentality might think that's too cheap. I need to go for the expensive thing.
Now-
Or for the same t-shirt, go to one of those G label,
now,
whatever,
you
for a
know-
certain
no,
price.
no.
You know the both of you are
You people are mixing these things. You people are
No.
really mixing. Manze, Gift, first of all, that person didn't trust your poor self. You are trying to advise someone who has more money than you. How would he trust you?
Bro, as
Thing
that
to do
guy,
with
that
the
guy went
mentality.
to Dubai, akaona kiti Dubai.
Bro, you people are
Okay.
mixing mixing ignorance with ghetto mentality.
Okay.
This person,
Can I give you an
so for the
experience?
Wait,
ghetto
wait.
mentality, what would they be doing different, especially in such a scenario?
No.
Dizo?
venye tu may explain hivyo unaona Karembo, like mi najua prisons wana make viti, si ndio? Kando ya prisons naona kuna Louis V. I am going to buy Louis V so that nikuje yani nionyeshane venye nimebuy kiti expensive. I'm not buying it out of convenience.
Are you buying it out of preference? If that's the case, then yes, it is fine.
Again, hiyo ndo chenye nimesema, hata ndio Baiko amekwambia. Wewe unataka kuinsist mtu ni mjinga, but ni yeye anaweza enda
Sijasema huyo mtu
Dubai.
ni mjinga.
Yeye anaweza enda Dubai, ajibebe aende Dubai, anaweza buy kiti at any price.
But
Okay.
unajua
Unajua,
hiyo story ya
ni
ghetto
venye tu
mentality,
sasa
Dizo,
you are the wrongest person to try and advise him.
Okay.
Ni kama
Allow
mimi
me to
saizi
just
mtu mwenye anaendesha nduthi anataka kuja kuniadvise venye nataka kubai speed bike.
Okay, can I ask you
Aje.
just one question, Diesel? And this is a very genuine question, and that's where I was actually trying to go. There's this restaurant called Mama Nilishe. I'm pretty much sure everyone, all of you, know about this restaurant.
No, I
Okay,
don't know
kuna
it.
yenye
I
iko
don't
hapa
know it.
Lavington. So
Asijui.
I walked into this restaurant. I think 2-3 years ago, and I asked for biryani. They were selling biryani for I think 1,200 or something. Nakuja in some weird wooden bowl. The biryani was so shitty, and I remember skiza, and I remember telling my buddy, tunaweza chukua SGR saa hii twende Sparky Mombasa, and I'll get you quality biryani for $400 shillings. 400 shillings. Akanambia gift, it's a lie. Nikamwambia let's do it. We went to Mombasa, nikampeleka Sparky. Biryani was 400, inakuja mpaka juice na ndizi. Na mimi nikamwambia I don't mind paying 1,000 shillings for biryani, for a plate of biryani. Give me quality. Give me quality. Na tena nikamwambia hawa watu wanakuja kudanganya wase wa Lavington that this is biryani. Chapati alikuwa anauza chapati moja 150. Nikamwambia I understand the convenience, fine, lakini usiseme ati oh Mama Nilishe makes the best biryani. Nikamwambia no, it makes the best biryani to you. To you, it's a preference to you.
So the
But when
preference
it
has
comes to
nothing to
quality,
do with ghetto mentality.
Let me ask you this,
Give.
Diesel, because you see the way you've been
Preference.
explaining about this whole ghetto mentality. At this point, this is how I'm understanding it. The moment you yourself is coming from Karen, and you decide to go to somewhere like Ikomba so that you can go buy camera, so that you feel like you're fitting into this kind of lifestyle, you never ask yourself this question. Why do you need to go all the way? Yet, in your own comfort of suburbia, you could have gone into any shop and bought the same. But you just
it's called preference. Exactly.
You just want the preference of saying that you
Preference.
can relate and say, I have gone to Gikomba. I have tried to live in the shoes of somebody who is trying to also fit in your own class. Because think about this. By the time
I
you're
said that, Karembo. Now you see, you're turning that narrative
can
to
I
what you are
finish? Ama
understanding.
niache basi uongee,
No, no,
because
no. Sasa
now
unataka
you see
kunidefininia what it was for
Diesel,
me.
and that's why I'm saying this.
Karembo, I already said that. I said, Mimi going to Gikomba, yet I could go to the hub.
Can I land?
That was ghetto mentality. It has
Okay,
nothing
ni
to do with
sawa, and
me.
that is the thing. Na ndio
Preference, yeah.
nasema, the
That is
fact
just
that you
ghetto
did that
mentality.
and you come from Karen already says that you're not street smart. Because that's when
It
nasema,
has nothing
street
again to
smartness
do.
has
Why
nothing to
don't you
do
focus?
with.
So that was the narrative you are going to.
Okay, and
Unaona? Like as
that's why
in
I
now
was
you're not
trying to,
talking about you're
okay.
not talking about the ghetto mentality.
So Diesel, do I land or do I let you speak? Because you see, I've been giving you time to speak. You've spoken. It's fine for me to speak. And this is
Then
what
don't use me.
this is
Don't
what
use
I've
me as
been
an
trying to
example.
explain to
Use another reference because mine was talking on ghetto mentality, and I was not street smart at all.
Na ni
There was
sawa, na ndio
nowhere I
nilikuwa
was street
nasema
smart.
hivi, and that's what I was trying to tell you this. Street smart has nothing to do just because somebody is coming from a place that has been, let me say this in quotes, been called ghetto. Because you can be from the ghetto, but you don't want to change from the kind of lifestyle that and hardships that you're going through, because you think that if the moment you start changing, people will start thinking that, oh, you don't want to identify with the struggle. So that is what I'm talking about. That is what is called ghetto mentality. Ghetto mentality can also mean that even for this somebody who's coming from, let me say, privileged, is trying to relate with people who are of a certain class below. And that is what I'm talking, that's a ghetto mentality, because that's what I'm asking this. Let's give an example. Somebody like George Ruto, he has been what? He actually got into the Nganya culture. Does that has to do anything with being street smart ama ghetto mentality? No. He saw an opportunity and worked it out.
and he took it.
He
It was
took
just
it.
a preference.
Because he knows he has the money and the capacity. I mean, this guy is bringing in systems nobody from the ghetto can able even to beat up with him. He doesn't need even a circle to do it. Him is pulling it out, a whole nini, and pimps it up for 5 million. Do you think that has to do anything with ghetto mentality or being street smart?
Okay,
No. He
let
was
me answer
smart
that
because
question of
of,
yours.
that's what I'm talking. Street smart doesn't have to do that. You had to
I
be.
thought you were
It's
asking a question.
understanding
Kidogo.
how systems are working.
You know, you and Dizo are talking about the same thing.
Really?
So Karembo,
Really?
chenye hiyo kitu yote umesema,
Kidogo tu
No, then if you were talking of the same
ebu
things,
ebu
then
ebu
why did you
ebu
make it
ebu
sound
ebu
like I
ebu
didn't know what I was talking about?
Listen. Dizo is
because
giving
okay,
his ghetto
Karembo tu
mentality
Let
from
Michael
his
is
own
talking.
story. He's giving ghetto mentality from his own story.
Yes, so that's the thing. Because we don't, I may not, he probably wants us to forcefully like relate to his story, but he's also not trying to listen
No,
to.
he's not forced anybody to relate.
Okay, it's fine.
For you, you're talking about ghetto mentality from the point of mtu anafanya vitu yenye haziko pande yake. As in, they are not relating with where he is.
Exactly.
But the thing is,
and you
Karembo,
see, that's his experience. Because for me, my
but
own
hiyo kitu
experience.
yenye umesema
Okay.
Karembo, whatever you've said is whatever we were talking about
Exactly.
earlier.
Na ndio
Hii kitu
nasema,
yote
so that's what I
umesema,
was asking.
hebu
He talks about being street smart. And ndio
ngoja.
nauliza aje, so somebody
Sasa hii
comes
swali
from
yako
like middle class
kuuliza
going upwards.
itajibiwa saa
So
ngapi
does
when
that
umalize
mean that they're not
kuuliza?
street smart?
what is street smart?
No, ndio nasema. So you
Okay.
think they do not understand the working of just trying to understand?
What is street smart?
Being street smart is understanding the current like systems that are working. It's just getting to understand how everything works.
Wacha.
And you know that's the thing
So-
I say. But and ndio nasema
So
wait,
hadi hapo
by kwacha nimalize
Karembo.
This what is
bland.
street smart to you?
Hadi hapo in fact
you
hivyo
made
venye
it,
tu
you
Karembo,
tried
hivyo
to
venye
compare
Karembo
street smart to
amesema,
book smart, and I was like, where does these two come in between with each
let him
other?
answer what street smart.
no one compared. That's why
You
nakwambia
did.
wewe unaanga
That's what you say.
wewe
When I
unaangalia
was
vitu
trying to
from a
pull it
versus
out,
but
Dizo,
but anyway, hebu turudi nyuma.
What is
Whatever
street
you have
smart to
said
you?
Karembo, whatever Karembo has said is whatever we were discussing in the beginning. Kwa hivyo wewe na gift, welcome now to the topic. Now here is the topic. Hizo vitu zenye umesema ndo vitu tulikuwa tunasema. Now we went further and said hiyo kitu hata hiyo comparison yako ya kunitumia mimi ndio ukuje uanze kuleta stories za ati someone doesn't have to come from the ghetto to be street smart. I talked about that. Unaongelea umetumia example ya mtoto wa Ruto. Let me help you with mtoto wa Ruto. I've told you Ruto hakutoka from side ya Upang.
him alitoka
Ruto
from
alitoka
Ruto.
from the ghetto.
No, si ghetto,
Ruto alitoka na that.
alitoka ushago.
Hata huko ushago kuna ghetto. Ghetto haimaanishi iko Nairobi pekee.
You can't mix
Ghetto
the
mentality
two.
ni ghetto.
But ushago kuna
Karembo, we are talking about
Sikatai.
mentality. We are not
So are you
talking. We are not
trained?
talking about location. We are talking about mentality. The ghetto mentality can come from anywhere. Mimi, I was from Karen and yet I had ghetto mentality. What do you mean?
one, bro.
That was a you
What do
problem.
you?
Yeah.
So ghetto mentality can come from anywhere. Now Ruto had that ghetto mentality, but he didn't use that ghetto mentality as a personality. It was just a face. He monetized it. Now he used the ghetto mentality maybe to even school his children na amewaraise kuwaonyesha kuwapatia both sides. Mimi there are people who are from tuseme from Karen, they've had all the opportunity. I even gave that example. They had all the opportunities. They went to school, they went all kila kitu, but they didn't grasp the street smartness. Now once they didn't grasp that, sasa hata hawajui hata kuishi. Mtu alifika form 4 akaenda ati campus, ameenda campus majuu, ameenda kusoma nuclear science. Nuclear science unakuja nayo Kenya, unaenda kuemployiwa wapi? Na since
But you know
hajui
that is
anything.
maybe one out of the anomalies, not all of them.
No, me, I'm giving you a
Of one
majority of people I
specifically.
grew up. No, people I grew up with in Karen. Not
So
most
maybe
people that
Karen,
I
maybe
grew up
people are not
with.
street smart. That's it.
Again, no wonder nakwambia wewe arguments zako tu ni unataka tu kuargue. You're not even listening to the conversation.
No, but tumesema most of them they were not able to adopt.
I am giving the same thing you said, that it doesn't mean ukitoka ghetto ama ukitoka Karen ndio utakuwa street smart. It just depends with the environment of how you've been brought up. If your parents, kuna wazazi wenye wako ghetto na wame raise watoi wenye wame get out of ghetto. Kuna maparents wenye wako Karen ama Lavi ama whatever na wame raise watoi wenye wame end up back in ghetto. Unaona? So there's a difference between parenting and
But you see now those are different
not
anomalies. Those are
not being ready to be
hypotheticals.
a
You don't
parent.
have examples about it.
So me, I'm talking about the mentality. The mentality, as I said, ndo mimi nakwambia sasa karibu kwa topic. Mentality is just hiyo it's just a face. It is not a permanent thing you brand yourself. Ati mimi mimi am ghetto. You are just there because circumstances zimekuweka hapo. Haimaanishi you have to stay there. You can grow out of that. Now, ignorance will keep you in ghetto mentality. Unaona? But it's a phase you can pass out of there. There he said nyingine yenye shit is too comfortable. Ignorance will keep you in that loop. Na ujipate you can't be better than that. After maybe your dad has died, I gave example. There are kids yenye tumeona kwa news mara mingi of many great people that once the great person has died, the kids crushed the empires their parents built. We've seen that in the supermarkets.
But okay.
Unaona? So we are not talking about, I'm not talking about ati ghetto mentality lazima utoke ghetto. That's why I used my example. It's a mentality, it's not a location. Ghetto is not a location. Ghetto is a mentality.
Dizo, you're very right. My understanding of being in a ghetto mentality or in survival mode or nini, it's just the fact that you get stuck. You're not able to kujitoa and move to, like, kuna ile progression, unaelewa? It doesn't matter if we unaenda Gikomba na unaishi Karen, but being able to experience something and just move from it, that's the goal.
Yes,
Unaona?
yes. Yani, it's basically an evolution. Na ndio nilikuwa nasema,
Exactly.
like, it's crucial for men for at least, unajua pia, not to be comfortable. Because growth doesn't come from comfort. And the best place to be uncomfortable, bro, is that ghetto mentality. Now, if you can consciously be in that ghetto mentality, and when I say consciously, is you need to dress good, but you can't afford clothes in Mr. Price.
So are you trying
Or
to also say that with having ghetto mentality, you cannot be street smart? Because remember this, with ghetto, you're coming from a
we
place of
nimekuachia
scarcity.
baiko mimi hapo
You're
hapo
coming from a
nimenawa.
place of no, unajua ndio nasema sasa
Hebu
you're about to
acha
contradict.
tusikie analand aje.
Ndio nasema because if you're going to say ghetto mentality is cross board, okay, then you cannot say you're street smart with ghetto mentality. You only get street smart and get out of that ghetto mentality when you've acknowledged that your scarcity was coming from a place of victimhood or just trying to be, just complaining about something. Secondly, you've understood the system and you're getting out of the system, and that you're not going to relate to the trauma or the pain that comes with that ghetto mentality. Because that is the only way you can actually say you've gone above the ghetto mentality.
Unajua, Karembo, we did this topic inaitwa duality. I'm very sure you were present in that class. Double math. Yes, school ilikuwa.
Yeah, I was book smart for that, yeah.
No, I'm just saying double math. Ulikuwa, you were here present. The thing is, Karembo, you are trying to pit two things against each other. Mm-hmm. And they both exist in the same place. For example, ghetto mentality and street smart. I mean, how do you get out of one? Lazima embrace kitu.
Exactly.
And that is exactly what and the direction that Dizo is going, as well as Gift, kwa sababu it's a face. Yani, hii ghetto mentality, how are you using it? Na ndio hapo kwenye Dizo anakuingisha. Are you consciously using it to benefit yourself, ama is somebody using it for you? Because when somebody is using it for you, unakuwa
you become the marginalized people that are being
you
controlled.
actually now become a weapon that you can be used anywhere.
Exactly.
Ndio unapewa labels kama sasa marginalization, sijui victims.
No, let's make it simple. Unakuwa kama watu wa Kibira wale walikuwa wanaenda kurusha mawe. Simple.
Ni sawa.
You become used.
Sasa kwa hiyo
Fuata topic wewe, unakuwa weapon.
kwa watu wa Kibera wenye wanaenda kurusha mawe. Mm-hmm. Kuna mtu ameshaelewa bro. Sisi tunaweza rusha mawe.
But they cannot.
Na kuna mtu pale analipa watu kurusha mawe bro.
So you think that's being street smart?
Now that is street smart.
No, it's not.
I mean, this is a face.
You've chosen to be comfortable. What Dizo came to talk about. That's now being comfortable.
Karembo. Are you going to throw stones for the rest of your life?
But they're going to throw it because they're comfortable with getting 200 or 1,000 for these theatricals.
Are you going to, as in, umeshaona unaweza pata.
Ndio nakuuliza, do they get out?
Ndio nakuuliza.
No, the people who do they get out?
Yes, they do.
No.
They do. I mean, who is Gaucho?
No. most of them remain in the same, and that's when askia the
Karembo-
reason
Ka-
ghettos
Karembo-
no the reason that
Karembo, si
system
hatusikii
keep
tunasema Sudi alichukua
you, I think
members of parliament akawapeleka kwa shamba yake kuona skimu yake ya dairy mkao. Do you understand what
but you
this
know
guy is
you
doing?
cannot but you know Sudi what he did is ye kitu amefanya ndio nakwambia the moment ametap into the street smartness in him, he's not relating to Bin Shags Mondo. He has adopted the modernization of it.
I mean,
and get to a place monetize.
How did
So
they-
now ndio nakwambia like, I'm explaining something. So he's trying to tell them I got out of the loop. I am making it work for me.
no, he's not doing that. For him, he's capitalizing on that thing. Because how did these people, for example, let me take you back to na leo naona ni kama tunaingia kwa politics. Let me take you back to campaign season. How did we vote for Bituka UDA, Ruto, akina Sudi? How did we vote?
Because they were trying to blend in with the ghetto.
Thank
With
you.
the ghetto.
But
That's how they
ask yourself a
system.
gift. Somebody who is blending with the ghetto is coming to campaign on a air-conditioned Land Cruiser or Lexus or whatever, bro. Akitoka hapo waiting station ni hoteli. But anakuja
Sankara.
bana.
Ana airliftiwa
Anakuja
actually.
kwenu anawaambia tuna relate. I feel you my friends. I feel you. And you still think you're in the same place. You say, oh, acha tuvotie mtu wetu. That is exactly ghetto mentality we are talking about. Somebody has consciously understood how
Huyu amekuwa street smart, ametoka from the system.
Ndio,
Yes,
sasa-
sasa ni ana control system.
he's not controlling the
But
system.
wale wako hapa hivyo
I think
wanatoka kama
I think the
waypoint.
biggest problem here ni kuintroduce your street smart. Sasa tumemix Karembo yani kabisa. Sasa
No,
yani
tunaweza rudi kwa
yeye
book
kila
smart
kitu anataka
pia and
kuequate
bring
na
it
street
up bado
smart.
hapo in between.
Focus is ghetto mentality Karembo. Street smart
You
hiyo
know,
hata
ndio
venye
nataka
niliibeta it had
kukuexplainia,
nothing to
you
do
see
with
the way
book
you
smart.
have people from Karen who are never able to be street smart and adopt change and all that. Me, I know enough people who have come from the ghetto, rural, wameweza kuingia into a system, gone to those corporates that you're talking about, even been able to dress and even get away from that mentality of thinking that they need to relate to that trauma and all that struggle. And they've made tremendous changes out of it.
Karembo,
So what does that tell you? This is
How is
somebody
that
who's
different from
understood.
what we have said,
No,
Karembo? Why are you making this conversation so difficult? How is that
This is
different
exactly
from what we have
talking
said?
about. For example, let me take you back to Kiambu. Kuna mama fulani alililia president amjengea nyumba. Very sure. I think it was in Thika kama sijakosea.
I can't relate.
Na huyu mama akajengewa 2-bedroom house. From nothing, she had nothing. Akajengewa the house by the government.
Akasema it ain't shit.
Bra, as in you are living in the open. But kuna mtu amekuchocha out of political whim and progression. Ukatai hiyo just to paint a bad picture for the government. Yet you yourself are suffering. I mean, if we are not talking about ghetto mentality, then I don't know what we are talking about. Because this is exactly it. As in, hata tukienda kwa hiyo story ya street smart. Bro, street smart pia iko na limitation because you cannot use, and I think that we were talking about this earlier, Dizo. Let me take you back to where we start. So we started so that we can continue with full understanding about what we are talking about. We were talking about wewe na street smart yako. Yes, you've already acknowledged that you've got it. As in, you've already understood that you can manipulate environments. But how the fuck, as you said, the gift, it's a face. How the fuck are you using the same kind of street smart in the next phase that you're in? You are not growing anywhere. No evolution. You're just growing, yes. I mean, in the same watu wanatoka ghetto, as Karembo was saying, kuna mtu ndio progress through that system, manage to navigate, is starting to make a quick buck, starting to change his life. But you look at him going into the next phase, and yes, you can see he's in the next phase, but the kind of thinking that he has is like, bro, what's going on here, man? Why are you not letting go of this thing? Why are you not finding other ways of being with us? And now you start to ask, ni wapi, who is weaponizing what? It is to take it from
And you see that weaponization, yeah, the mentalities. That's what now conscious people feed on. It's not even the system weaponizing the mentalities. It is the conscious people in the system. What the system does is it feeds on what you output, and then it creates a structure around it. So let's say if you give out victimhood, the system will create for you a structure for victimhood. You'll find yourself attracted to vitu kama kanisa. You'll find yourself attracted to help groups. Like as in, the system will give you anything you're giving out.
Yeah.
So being manipulated is not the system, it's you accepting or you being ignorant in the system. Now, blaming the system is what the system wants so that the system can evolve.
Because it is giving you excuses to exist.
And you see, if it's
Yeah.
going to say that you're blaming the system. So when we're talking about the people who have been used to throw the stones or to be used to go, for a certain fee to appear somewhere to look like that they're supporting. That is what justice will just actually showed. That ametoka tu kusema. You become now those people that do not want to be
But
smart.
unaona hapo-
You just want to be comfortable in that and just stick in that space of wacha utumikange.
Sasa acha
Ignorance.
Acha nikuchekeshe. Sasa kuna mtu hata ajui yako hapo.
Exactly, hata hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka kusema, like Karembo, unaona kuna watu conscious, na hiyo ndio nilikuwa nasema, like you can consciously use the ghetto mentality to move yourself up. Like huyo mtu mwenye Baiko alikuwa anasema what is the name,
Vusi.
I, this guy huyu mwenye anatumika wa ghetto na Raila, ama wacha
Gaucho.
nani, Gaucho Karembo can outsource 100,000 right now if he wants. Like we see him doing that for people wenye wameteseka. Ako like, oh, hata nilipigia baba, hata niliongea na nani, hata ametumiwa pesa ameenda huko, na yeye anaonekana ni kama hana, but he's living a really good life because he's consciously doing it to a point. He has Raila's number. How many people can say that? So you can consciously use the ghetto mentality to reach up. Then once you reach up, you can stop using it. It's the same thing. The maana alikuwa anatumia mtu kama Ruto, mtu kama Sudi. With ghetto mentality, what ghetto mentality has that Booksmart doesn't have, or let me not use Booksmart. What ghetto mentality has that tuseme punk mentality ama hii rich mentality. Ghetto mentality doesn't have embarrassment.
Yeah, they're not picky.
Bruh, pale, those people can do anything. Now, for growth, that is the best thing you need for growth. Don't be embarrassed about anything. If you want to achieve a certain goal, do anything you must for you to reach that goal. And we are seeing that. When Ruto is out there, sisi tuna like hizo deals zake zenye anazimeka kinyonya do everywhere. Huh? How is he playing? He's making sure him is doing everything he can to maintain his empire. Now that's totally different from huko sasa tukienda saidia, is he now operating from scarcity or is he operating from abundance? That's another topic altogether. But he's consciously using the ghetto mentality to win. Sudi consciously using the ghetto mentality to win. Because in the same place, in the same arena, there are people who are unconsciously using the ghetto mentality with ignorance. They even don't know. Hao wanadhani sasa, hao ndio wenye wanatumika. Those are the people now who get manipulated to end up now. They get manipulated now to end up now to be weaponized, to make sure they can now go for this maandamano and break things. You in those maandamano, have you seen Gaucho? And when you see him, have you see ati ameshikwa?
I mean, we literally saw time ya maandamano jamaa wakijitoa first half.
Hadi hao wenyewe wakasema Gen Z endeni.
Boss, mtu anajishikia simu na ndio amefika maandamano. Aje man. Sijaiona polisi amereact haraka hivyo manzi. Ai, yawa. Na wewe umeenda umevunja
So the idea is just to be conscious about the position you are in. Like
Exactly.
if right now you're poor, if right now you're broke, then the best mentality for you is ghetto mentality. With ghetto mentality, you will do anything.
You know,
So when you
Diesel.
say about this ghetto, before gift to pick on that, now when you say that somebody with ghetto mentality can do anything, I have seen now the current. I have seen situations where people are not smart enough and they are just too paranoid, and will be busy just blaming everybody else instead of looking at their own situation and ask themselves, why am I in this situation? How do I get out of this? I mean, like, what do you do about that? Like, do you let them just continue being in their paranoia? Ignore them? Let them just, the system keep on using them?
Yes.
Unless you want to be a savior, as in that can be your purpose in life,
Your
saving.
name is Jesus.
You can
No,
do
I'm
it.
not being
You
Jesus.
can go and save
I've been
people.
on that end where paranoia has taken over, and I'm on that end where I'm being told, oh, I blame you for this and that and everything. And I'm like, I can't relate with this kind of whatever. But I mean, if this is what you want to do, you run with it. If it helps you wake up in the morning and say that, oh, all this is because ABCD was caused by Mama Kanisa, well and good. So that's the thing. So,
Karembo.
yes.
There's this statement, sijui kama ushaisikia. Huwa wanasema we jua nini imekuleta Nairobi. Have you ever heard that statement?
Yes, correct.
Exactly. That same ushaiona, there's someone who said if you came to Nairobi to look for a career, you're in the wrong place. But if you came to Nairobi to look for money, you're in the right place.
Correct.
Exactly. So basically, you'll find a guy, and this is very common. At least 9 out of 10 people in Nairobi are guys who probably the first time they stepped in Nairobi, maybe when they were in campus. 9 out of 10, at least. Majority of Nairobians were not even born and raised in Nairobi. But these guys came jobs contractual jobs hapo taskis, they would work at restaurants. Unaona wani wanapiga kengele wameshikilia zile placards wakisema chips kuku 250, and because to them they are looking at this as an opportunity to get to another one.
But
But kuna msee Nairobi
na gift wacha
no,
nikuulize.
There's somebody who was born in Nairobi hawezi fanya hiyo job because to them that doesn't make sense.
Yes, so it becomes about quality over quantity.
No, it all comes down to what's your goal. And I'll give you an example. One time I'm talking to my buddies and tuko kwa restaurant and I'm using fork and knife, and they're like, wewe ni babi. I was like, what? You expect me kwenda restaurant yenye iko hivi and I'm using my hands? It doesn't make sense. You have to learn. Si ubabi, you just have to do the right thing at the right place. But if I go to this restaurant yenye iko hapo Kilimani ya Wasomali, mi nikiletewa hiyo rice yao na supu ya ngamia, nitawambia nipatie maji ya kuosha mkono and I'll use my hands. It all comes down to
leo umeongea about food.
It all comes down to, are you able to adjust to your environment? It's not a matter of sahii ukienda mtaani uendi pale umevaa matimba ama Louis V nini, you just blend in because you'll stand out. Unaelewa? Ukienda mahali where you have to speak corporate English, do it. Ukienda mahali where you have to speak Sheng, do it. You just have to be in the right place at the right time in the right moment.
Yes.
But huwezi sema ati give to any babi. Oh yeah, mi ni babi na saa ingine mi ni mgeto.
You can blend
So
in.
Yes.
that's now what Baiko was trying to say on hiyo part ya watu wa maandamano, like being intentional with your life. You know, like everything you do, you be intentional with it. Like hakuna venye, you know, if you keep on following, if you're still being given instructions, na nikianza show nilisema, if you're being given instructions on how to live your life, then wewe ni mtu wa kutumiwa till the day you will wake up. You are ripe to be used. Like you need to be used. Me, I have no problem with people being conned. Like for real, when you're conned, you learn. But now when you're conned twice, wewe sasa si ati you are a problem. It is now a choice. You actually don't mind.
Tena
You
by
know,
the same con man.
imagine the same con man keeps on conning
You
you.
have chosen your struggle.
Hata wewe ni mjinga kiasi
You
gani.
have chosen your struggle, and that means maybe you are not intentional about it. And if you're not intentional about it, why shouldn't you be used? Because now it's not even unfair for those who have woken up to not use those who haven't woken up. The universe has asked you to be a character developer. It has given you the tools.
And
Why are you not a character developer? Why are you not a teacher?
in fact Diesel,
Some lessons are very very painful and some lessons are easy. Ndio unaambiwa asiyefunzwa na mamaye atafunzwa na ulimwengu. You know, both sides are not a problem.
you start to realize that anytime there is a problem ni mtu mwenye hayuko kwa hiyo shida amesema kuna hiyo shida.
Exactly.
Kabisa.
Hao wenye walikuwa kwa hiyo shida, hawaoni shida. Mwenye amekoniwa haoni.
Hata haoni.
Wewe kuna shida.
Hata wako like hata pesa ilikuwa kidogo. Can we do this again?
Ay man.
Uliza Putin. Uliza Putin graduate hapo. Graduate.
Hapana, let's not hapana please. Please.
Putin alikula managu mwezi mzima. Lakini ana certificate.
Sasa unaona?
Mbona mnaongea vibaya? Mbona mnaongea vibaya? Putin.
We are using live examples. Putin was ignorant and he had to learn the lesson the hard way. You know,
Yeah.
if he hadn't gone through that lesson, then maybe he would have never known how now to navigate going forward. Like, there's no one who doesn't have a story. And in fact, all great people have a story. Ukiangalia tu vizuri tu, ati by the way, unajua, do you know the things this person had to go through? So kila mtu anadhani now you because so and so went through this and they overcame and became this, they want now to copy that person instead of them now looking into themselves and look at their struggles and figure out what they are not intentional about, because that's the only way you can exist the system, by being intentional, so that you don't keep on repeating the same patterns out of ignorance, then blaming the system.
And you know this, let me
Not knowing, the more you're blaming the system, is the system the system keeps on evolving with those blames.
it is winning.
It is winning. Now, when the system is evolving, it needs people to use it. Says this story is a big pharma. How many times have we talked about big pharma? How the health industry is just milking money out of us.
But see,
We keep
that's
on talking
business.
about that.
It's business.
Yes, now we keep on talking about that as if we are aware, but we keep on living ignorantly.
Thank you. Ufinya tena
Yeah.
hapo.
So see ati we are actually aware, because hizi mtu akiwa mgonjwa umwambie now that you've realized the big pharma is making you sick, why don't you try other alternatives? That ndio nitumie miti shamba mimi, I can't, let me go back to the hospital. So you come out here complaining, then you go back feeding the same system.
And Diesel,
You come out here eating junk.
And it will sound very paradoxical, lakini acha tu niseme tu kweli. Najua saa ingine mimi nakalianga vitu zangu tunasema man, let me sit with this one. I know this is a luxury gift cannot afford to have, sitting on his balls. But bro, two things. Positive feedback of a system ikifika ni kwa ghetto mentality, it is when you complain. That is its positive feedback. Because it finds ways to rectify that and then keep doing what it was doing in the first place. Ni vile watu hawajui. Because the only time, and we kept on talking about the matrix, Dizo. The only time you are beating the matrix is when you don't show it what you are doing. So it keeps on guessing. Unadu. Let me give you a good example. Somebody who tries to get out of employment, jamaa anaenda anaanzisha business. And he finds a very, very good way of doing that business to a point that it works for him. What does the system try to do? Inaanza kumudisha vitu kaa taxes. Inaanza kumpeleka kwa technicalities. Unbeknown to the system, they find out that this guy had already covered that. What happens to that guy when the system can no longer realizes that, bro, jamaa
they realize
atuwezani na yeye, wacha endelee na Kenya alikuwa anafanya. You are giving this story juzi Dizo ya who's this guy? Jimmy Wanjige. When he alijaribu kushikwa alafu akampata na Navy Seals. You remember that story, Dizo?
Yeah, ile atao.
Bana.
Ai wapi? Ile atao buda mmemuendea huko mnapata ala.
Ako sawa.
Paka yeye hata hawezi toka kwa gari. Mko like mfikieni muone.
Umse ameshajua ku thrive kwa hiyo environment yenu mpaka ashatoka kwa hiyo environment yenu. Now that is the problem where, I mean, that is the reason why that environment has a problem with it. Because this person has left. And the only time you hear of Jimmy Wanjige is when he tries to become a victim. You don't hear about him anywhere else.